Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing another movie review of. This movie is a horror film from the UK, English language, released in the year 2021, directed by Prano Bailey-Bond, and this film is called Censor. So Censor is set during the video nasties era in the UK, where the censorship board wanted to ban all these horror films known as video nasties because they were protecting the public. They believe that the violent acts shown on screen will encourage people to go out and emulate what they're seeing. So the main character is part of this board, and she sees it as her duty to protect the public, and so she's censoring all of this stuff, but we realise that she had a traumatic event happen in her past that's still haunting her to this day. Now that event is going to be relived when she's censoring a film that she actually believes is directly linked to her past, because what's happening she can actually remember happened to her. So she believes that the director has answers that she's been longing for, and this is the start of a very obsessive journey to find the truth. And so whether or not she does is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Censor. I was very interested to see this film. When I saw the trailer I thought, alright, this is a horror film that is based on censorship. And so censorship is something that has been following us horror fans for a very long time. You know, ever since I was 8 years old, I was told that I was going to be a violent person if I keep watching what I'm watching. And so from that day on, I've kept watching horror films and I haven't killed anyone yet. And so it's an indicator that maybe that's just a myth, and it's definitely a cop-out. And so the video nasties era in the UK, that was censorship where they just cut all these films to ribbons because they believed it was that devastating effect. And it's the same with video games. And so for us horror fans, people on the outside don't understand that it's therapeutic. If you can tell the difference between reality and fantasy, it's something you can gravitate to in a very harmless way. But for those on the outside, it can have a devastating effect for us because they actually believe they're protecting us, when in fact they don't really understand the psychological issues with these people committing these acts. You know, these acts of violence, not because of what they're seeing, it's because of their psychological health. And so that was something that I thought was very interesting to take into a film. But how was this movie going to use that? Was it going to be used to demonise horror fans, or was it going to be used to create a very interesting premise? And after watching this movie, I will say that thankfully they use it in a way that I thought creates a really absorbing tale of a woman's quest for answers, but not knowing the difference between reality and fantasy. And this is the devastating effect of these horror films, because she's had a psychologically damaging past. Now, you know, psychologically damaged individuals, they're either going to watch something on the screen and emulate that, or they're going to find something else to emulate. And so it's like a ticking time bomb, and these horror films, this is what sets that bomb off. And so this is, as a horror fan, you can understand why people on the outside would deem horror films as evil, whereas for those of us who love horror, and for those of us who can tell the difference between fantasy and reality, we know that it's the psychological torment of an individual that is the true indicator. And so this main character, I thought, was played absolutely phenomenally well in her quest for answers, but then as the line between fantasy and reality starts to become very blurred, this is where the movie starts to become very surreal. And it's very haunting, and I thought the colour palette was very surreal. It was out of this world, and it actually felt like you were getting absorbed into an actual movie, and you didn't know the difference between reality and fantasy. And so you're taking a trip inside this person's damaged mind, and you start to believe, okay, is what is happening, is that actually film or is it reality? And so this is something you can experience with this main character. And this is why I thought Prano Bailey-Bond created a film that was very respectful to horror fans, but very interesting, is because this is all about censorship. And this is about the people that these movies have to be protected, these people have to be protected from. And so it's not the people who are genuine horror fans, it's the people who have been very damaged. And so it's that psychological help that they need, not so much the movies that are creating these killers. So I thought the runtime was absolutely fantastic. As this woman, you start to get a little bit of insight into her past, and this is where things start to spiral. It becomes very dark, and it concludes up into a very shocking climax. I really like this supporting cast, but everything revolves around this main performance, and I thought it was absolutely fantastic. It's just a very devastating, haunting horror film that has a lot of emotion in it, but it has a lot of thought-provoking material. And so if you're a horror fan, you believe that this is a film that understands horror and it understands censorship. And so it's taking it from both perspectives, that of a horror fan and that of the person on the outside. And this is everything that the video nasty censorship was all about. And so it's an incredibly riveting experience. It's very different, so if you're after a traditional horror film, I would say stay away. But if you want something that's going to make you think, it's going to really tug on the heartstrings and make you feel sympathy for the main character, this is a movie I would highly recommend. I'm going to give Censor 4.5 stars. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching movies, and I'll see you later. Bye.